Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. Got a ladder match for you guys and gals today, sent it to me via Facebook, and I'm not going to mention who, because I'm not certain that they want their real name plastered all over the Forged Alliance ether. Just know that it was probably someone interested in shameless self-promotion. And if you want to do the same, you can do it just by liking my Facebook page, which you can find at the bottom of the description below this video, which is also a little bit of shameless self-promotion on behalf of myself. So we're all creatures of habit. On to today's game. It's going to take place on Twin Rivers, so let's head on over there and see how these guys are going to get on. Up here at the top right, in the blue corner, going Aeon, it is the Tempest. He's opening first land, got a couple of P-gens in play. Going for the not going for the adjacency bonus, has slightly missed it there and doesn't want to give up valuable time in the starting build order to reposition that, so he's just like, man, whatever. And he's going second air. Gonna get the four or five P-gens in place for that. Give him a nice amount of bonus power on the construction of those planes. Down here for the red team, going Cybran, it's Zunny or Zunny. Answers on a postcard for that one. I don't know. I'm going to call him Zunny because I think it sounds better. And he's going land first, couple of P-gens, and he's being very mysterious about what he's going second. But we shall find out soon enough. Twin Rivers needs little or no explanation. Personally, I'm kind of bored of this map, and I know that's not a sentiment shared by the rest of you because the polling results are in for the survey to determine which maps will make it through to the ladder pool in Season 3, and this one, out of all the custom maps to be ejected, this one received the least votes, so it is definitely in for the next season. So clearly the rest of you like it, so who am I to judge? Anyway, first offensive units on the map seem to be from Zunny, and he's making a play up the left-hand side past the riverbank with a lab, a hunter, and a mole. It's going to pass this little hill, run into a spirit from the Tempest. Just pop that, so Tempest will be aware that there are some hostile troops in the area. It's going to skirt past these 4 mass points and up onto what looks like the rear plateau with an attack order. It does potentially mean that there's at least one engineer whose life is in dire jeopardy as he goes about his business. He's just trying to earn a wage, bring home the bacon, wants to get Tommy, his little baby engineer, a G.I. Joe for Christmas, or a G.I. ACU as they have in Subcon Universe, but it's rapidly becoming an eventuality that will never happen. Goes in there, tries to be a hero and reclaims some of the hunter, doesn't get anywhere though, and his life was just a pointless waste of time. And Zunny, or Zunny, I've got to make up my mind, Zunny, I'm calling him Zunny, is going to move the hunter and the mole right to the rear of the plateau. He's going right down here to the edge. Nice little move order right the way down here to the bottom right over the edge of the cliff, so he's probably not going to be able to complete that. He's going to have to flank back round across the plateau back to the entrance. There is an Aurora in place here for the Tempest along with the Spirit, trying to hunt down that lab. Meanwhile, there's more engagements on the way. Couple of Mantis moving in from Zunny, taking out an Aurora. There's another Aurora up here which he could bag. That mole probably just give him enough range to see it. Indeed it does. Brings that down with no difficulty. And indeed we are seeing some reasonably early air units. There's quite a lot of bombers in play out for the Tempest. This one down here has a kill already. We can assume that that was an engineer, but another couple of engineers going down there for Zunny. That bomber gets taken down swiftly afterwards, but definitely pays for itself in terms of slowing Zunny up. Another bomber coming in now, and 3 engineers in very close proximity trying to finish that factory which their comrades just died. Gets the bomb off and they still don't manage it. About a 90 odd or 190 hit points shy of completing that. Now that bomber won't make it home either. Hope he wasn't talking to his girlfriend about houses in the country with little white picket fences, because he won't be accomplishing that dream either. And this bomber, soon to follow him, does have 4 kills on the clock, so not a complete waste of time. And up here still we have that lab and that hunter finally though getting taken out. Group of Auroras stationed right here at the back for the Tempest, probably coming off from this factory here. Nicely handled, protecting that rear plateau from any more aggression. In the meantime, Zunny has moved his ACU forward a bit, just to the upper edge of his base. Started producing some land factories. Has he actually gone for the adjacency bonus on that mech? No, he hasn't. He's a ways off it. Definitely working on pretty hefty land spam. He has got, as I say, one air factory that's just working on the interceptors, help to shoot down those early bombers, providing valuable air defense, but not looking to do any damage with any bombers early on. A couple of Mantis managed to sneak up the right-hand side, gonna take out a mass point. There is a bomber overhead from the Tempest. You can see the EMP landing on the rear Mantis there, just knocking him or disabling him temporarily there. But they are going to pick up that second mass point as well. But look how slow Zunny has been to expand out to the right-hand side, how much more territory Tempest has managed to get and how much quicker. We'll see how that manifests itself in terms of mass. 24 mass seems to be the income for Zunny, and 32 mass seems to be the income for the Tempest. Tempest also having reclaimed slightly more. So in terms of mass, the economy is slightly stronger for the Tempest at the moment. But there's not a great deal of gap between these two players. 100 points in ranking. So expect it to be reasonably close. The Tempest actually looking like it's got reasonably good air control here at the 7.5 minute mark. Quite a few inties in the sky. Obviously he wants to continue making use of these bombers. That was a missed opportunity there. Couldn't get the angle. The bomb away could have taken out 4 engineers. Would have been very nice indeed. But quite a significant push happening now on the right hand side for Zunny. Marching up past the edge of the Tempest base. If you can get in the back and start taking out P-gens and build capacity, that could really hurt. Just not a lot of spam. It's all being funneled out here for the Tempest. There's not much defending spam at all. This could really hurt the Tempest. Send him back a ways. Wants to focus on these Auroras a little bit first, perhaps. He's got some more coming in with some Medusas as well. I like that play. It's going to help him take down structures a little bit quicker. And now the eco is beginning to suffer over on the right-hand side here for the Tempest. He's got down a power gen already and a mass point. Feels like he could have potentially taken out a little bit more if he'd have focused fire, but his attention is elsewhere. He's skirting past the front of the central reservation up here with a few more Mantis, taking some Aurora fire as he goes. But numbers just too few there for Zunny. Tempest going to have the better of that fight, and meanwhile Zunny's going to try and consolidate forces over here on the right. Still no engineers deployed to the side islands for either player. It's a lot of mass points going uncontested, 4 on each. Definitely not something you see at the very high rank levels. Of course, this isn't an average Joe's. This is above 1500 rating. But still not the pros. You watch the games with Zoc or Voodoo or Luzern or Brainfart or any of these guys, or Washi. Notice they would never let this get to the 10-minute mark without both of these islands being claimed. But a nice little run by attempted on the left-hand side by Zunny. He's going to make it in past these engineers who are trying to wall the area off, but they'll get destroyed before completing their task. And now the Tempest has a slightly Mantis-shaped problem on the left-hand side of the map. A couple of engineers in jeopardy. These mass points, I would imagine, will probably be going down as well. But a big push on the right-hand side for the Tempest. Zunny has his ACU in the area. He'll be able to fend that off pretty easily. That's a lot of tanks, though. Surprised the Tempest didn't engage on that. And still only 4,000 worth of power in the bank. So Zunny yet to build power storage. So, of course, he wouldn't be able to use his overcharge. So that might have been a nice chance for the Tempest to try and snatch an early win. Be that as it may, he's not a million miles away from his reinforcements. It wouldn't have been a hard task for him to get reinforcing Mantis in place. And of course, Auroras, pound for pound, if they're in range of the Mantis, they are a little bit tin foil. They want to use that range advantage as best they can. But now Zunny retreating to the left-hand side of the plateau, going to take out this mass point as he goes with this group of Mantis that's made it into the rear of the Tempest base. Not going to go right to the edge, so that engineer is going to survive unscathed, I think. Trying to hunt them down now with a group of Auroras. Spanned up a T1 PD, but the problem is with that is the aperture on the rear plateau is so large. It's not too difficult for units to get in around the edges. You need at least 2 or 3 to cover that effectively. But now we're getting into the mid-game here. Large orders of spam on behalf of both these players. Still committing to the bomber play, Tempest, making it work for him as best he can. Tempest very far forward with his ACU as well. Has an engineer doing a little bit of field repairs on him as he goes, but the engineer promptly gets blasted into oblivion by a Medusa kicking around nearby. Tempest moves forwards, has been shooting at that T1 PD, the autogun, but moves up even closer and then just reclaims it to finish it off. But quite a lot of fighting going on between these two groups of Auroras and Mantis. You can see the fire coming in there from the Tempest ACU at the bottom of the screen, just helping to diminish the forces. But the problem is, of course, the Auroras are not getting any advantage on their range at all. Zunny has moved forward, and they're just tin foil up close. Far too difficult to deal with. Now, Tempest is a little bit isolated. Needs to be careful, not want to take too much damage. He's trying to thin out the wedge as best he can. Up to 30 kills on the ACU. Taking a look at what kind of level of veterancy we're talking. He's still on the first level of veterancy, mainly all T1 that he's facing at the moment. And finally, some reinforcements come back into the picture for the Tempest. And finally, one of the players has made a push for one of the side islands. It has been Zunny. He's grabbed it with 3 engineers. Gonna pick up those mass points, and that could be invaluable as the game moves on. Zunny not moving his commander over to the left yet. Still committing to the play over here on the right, but there's nothing happening. That's a lot of firepower that's being wasted that could probably do with being on the left-hand side, being as how well the Tempest is pushing. Coming in with a large group of Auroras now. He's got his ACU between the Auroras and the Mantis, which is actually quite a nice play. Keeping them safe, working his ACU as a tank. Just trying to use the extended range of the Auroras as backup. Now that the horde of Mantis and Medusa has retreated slightly, he's going to do a little bit of a sideways maneuver with his Auroras and try and finish off these factories. This one's very near to going down, dropping below 800 HP or on 800 HP, but finally Zunny joins the fight with his ACU and is going all out attack. Tempest down to around 10,000 HP and falling. Zunny not wanting to push his luck too much, is not going to pursue right into the body of the Auroras. Doesn't really need to. He's got the right range for his Medusas and Mantis to thin those units out, slow it up, and see how these guys are doing on eco. Zunny sitting on around the 53 mass mark with half a bar there. The Tempest, it's impossible to say because he's bottlenecking power hardcore. It looks like he's probably on an upgrade somewhere. Must be doing something that's causing all of those issues. Pure speculation at the moment because I can't see it offhand. But certainly something's hurting him for power. Still producing bombers, but at this stage you wouldn't expect that to be such a problem. We'll go back to that in just a second. Tempest definitely looking slightly weaker, although gets a rank up there as he passes the 65 kill mark. Huge chunk of HP back, invaluable timing. Actually, quite a lot of Auroras on the field now for the Tempest. He is, however, facing off against T2. We've got some hoplites in play for Zunny. That will nullify any range advantage that the Auroras have had. So Tempest really needs to get in there with some obsidians. Just hear one going off and one going down there to counteract that. Offer him up some balance with the extra HP. Now Zunny moving forward with his commander. He needs to be careful, doesn't want to give away unnecessary hit points to the horde of Auroras not far away, but some lovely overcharges and some good work from the hoplites. Just tear apart that army from the Tempest. He needs to be really careful now as we approach the 17-minute mark. Very isolated indeed from all of his support. He's got more coming in. Zunny's actually put his commander between Tempest and the reinforcements coming in. There are obsidians in play now, but Zunny promptly overcharges the first one he sees from this new pack. But now a lot of fire coming in, and Zunny drops below 8,000 HP and falling, still taking a lot of damage. Needs to be careful, doesn't want those furthers to land any artillery shells on him if necessary. Tempest also taking fire at the same time, slowing this down to 0 speed. He's a lot healthier on 12,000 HP. Looks similar amounts in terms of bar, but of course Tempest is higher on rank. It's now on about 9,500, but the Tempest now looking out of units and alone once again. There's also a lot of bombers overhead. Tempest drops below 8,000 HP. Needs to be really careful. Should probably pull back. Finding himself very isolated. Hoplites standing off by the edge of the river, just firing away. Nice overcharge there from the Tempest. Picks up 2 hoplites. Another one's very low on health. He could snag that if he focuses it. Gets another rank up, back up to 13,000 hit points, looking a lot more healthy. In the meantime, Zunny's down here on around 5,000 HP. About to pass 100 kills. It's a very strange, protracted commander battle indeed. It's gone on for the best part of 10 minutes now. Tempest dodging and weaving as best he can, and then stops as soon as I say it. Curse of the commentator. Units of build capacity going down from the collateral damage from those bombers. Tempest back down to 6,000 hit points. He's lost half of those already. Needs to be overcharging a little bit more, but he was having power problems earlier. I don't know if he still is. He doesn't have power problems anymore. He's sorted that out. So it's not that preventing him from overcharging. Definitely do with an overcharge in here. Take out these 2 hoplites. That range is hurting him a great deal at the moment. And unless the Tempest can get a better critical mass of units together, I fear for his safety. He is going to retreat. A wise decision indeed. Finally, there's some ascendants on the field, which will take out those bombers that have been harassing him solidly for about the last 10 minutes or so. And he's going to pull back. He's going to start work on some static defense, working on some static flak first of all. This looks like Oblivion turrets in play afterwards. Still a bomber's coming in to harass the Tempest, but he is looking healthier all the time. Back up to around 7,400 hit points. And then there was silence. Wow, quite the exchange there indeed. Let that back up to +1. You can see the Oblivions going down there. We get a few of those on. That will help him get a reprieve from this onslaught that he's facing. We are, however, seeing some Vipers in play for Zunny. That's going to help him outrange the Tempest. If he can get in there and start taking out this build capacity, he could halt this point defense wall that's being built. Tempest may have to retreat again. Well, there's quite a lot of Auroras that's massing quite far behind, but the Tempest is moving very far forward. This is very ill-advised indeed. He's bolstered by the fact that he's got these Oblivion turrets in play, but I think that could be quite a critical error. It's allowed him to go down into the red. What are you doing? No, back up. I don't think he's got the intel to realize how much trouble he's in. Down to 3,000 hit points and falling. The first of the Oblivion turrets have gone down, and he's down to 1,000 hit points. He's not going to escape. Critical error right at the end there from the Tempest. Kaflooey. And Zunny emerges victorious. All he had to do was back up. He had an awful lot of T1 spam coming in terms of reinforcements. That's a real shame that Tempest lost out there. Game could have gone on for quite some time. Still, though, he made no attempt for the side islands. Zunny finally found the time to fly an engineer up here to the top island. He's dropped that off, so he was going to snag those. But completely clean shores here tells me that there's been, well, we've been focusing on that ACU battle, little or no action over the side island. It has all been going on in the middle. And interesting, hardly anything of any importance happened on this right-hand side. We had a couple of Cerberus turrets go down for Zunny. Tempest may have tried his luck at pushing a few units in there, but it wasn't going to do anything of any great deal. But yeah, taking a look at what these guys were on at the end. So 60 mass for the Tempest, assuming he wasn't on a reclaim boost. And 85 for Zunny. So Zunny definitely had the economic advantage, and it seemed to be going that way with the amount of stuff that was on the field. But anyway, GG guys, I hope you enjoyed that. More to come from me soon, but as always, in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle signing out.